What's up, everyone? Once someone gets on, let me know if you can see and hear us okay. There's nobody on right now, so there's no point in me saying that anyway, but be in just a second or two, and we'll get lots of people on. We got it going out to the email list, to the browser notification list, whatever you want to call that. Get it going out on several Facebook groups, YouTube, LinkedIn Live. Mandy helped me get approved for that, so that was nice. Got it on Periscope. We're on Twitch, although I feel like I'm way too old to be on Twitch. Now we're getting some folks on. Jeff from LinkedIn with the first comment says, can see you. Awesome. Luke said, lies, I'm on. My bad.
Yeah, Luke.
Craig says, hey, Chris and Rohin, looks and sounds good.
Hey, Craig.
Thanks, but what about the picture? Hey-o. Dawit says, hey, guys. What's up, Dawit? Adam says, thumbs up. What's up, Adam?
Hey, what's up, Adam? How's things?
All right. Near Me Pro says, excited about this. Awesome. For those that don't know, I'm here with Rohin Dua, our returning champion. He's been one of our most popular guests, and he's got some cool stuff lined up today. People are already coming in by the dozens. I never get this kind of attendance when it's just me. People like you better than me.
You reckon?
Says, hey, Chris and Rohin.
No, the session gonna be very exciting, I'm telling you, because I've tried to make some little tweaks. I asked my boys, like, send me some listings and what the stuff we did. So I guess this session gonna be more exciting than the last one.
Awesome. Got Dane, Indica, Oakley, Emro, Jonathan. Lots of folks on. I don't know, man. I'm ready if you are.
If you reckon, we can turn it on. All right.
I'm gonna turn the entire screen over to you.
Yeah, no worries. All right, guys. Thanks for turning up. And like I said, this session gonna be a very exciting one because I'm going to cover so many different kind of stuff. And if you believe there is anything which you're not sure about, feel free to ask me at the end, and I'll try to answer it as the best of my knowledge. So GMB, it's something we've got a good love with GMB because we manage a lot of campaigns and a lot of things. We ask when we sign up the new clients, we always go and ask them if they want to include the GMB in the overall package too. And a lot of time, brick and mortar stores, they say, go on. Definitely these slides I'm going to share gonna be a good one. Maybe some stuff you guys have already seen in few different presentations, maybe some courses, but there are few things which we have tested over the time and that actually works. So once again, a quick disclaimer, whatever I'm going to share, that's everything we have tested to date. There is nothing like which has been picked up from here or there. So everything gonna be tested. So if you ask me any question related to that, I can tell you straight away what we did and what the kind of results we got it. So let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen now, and that's it. Okay, so give me a quick one if you guys are able to see my screen. So give me a quick one in comments, guys. Chris, are you able to see my screen? I just want to make sure like it's working all sweet at my end.
Yes, we can see your stream. Just go back to the other screen.
Okay then. All right. So the presentation, it's all about Google My Business, how you need to go and dominate the business. So myself, Rohin Dua, guys. Again, there is anything, like I said, if you are not really sure about it, just hold your questions and we're going to actually cover them at the end. So the very first thing, what we're going to cover in this one. So it's basically how to add your business to GMB. Pretty straightforward, but we're still going to cover that for any beginners who are not really sure. How the Google Map rankings actually work. This is what we have seen tested over the time, like what kind of stuff is actually working these days. And then Google Map, what is the relation? Do we really need a website to get into Google Maps? So that kind of stuff we're going to definitely cover. And how to optimize a GMB listing the right way. So we used to work for one of a big agency. I won't name it, but we used to do all their GMB kind of work, and these are the ones who actually charge a big dollars from the front end client. So yes, this is kind of a stuff going to be exciting, which I'll share with you. And there are a few tools we are going to use as well. All right, having a website influences your Google Map ranking. So that's we're gonna cover. Embed a Google Map on the website and tracking, all that kind of stuff.
Hey, Rohin.
All right, so the very first is fine.
Can you like zoom in a little bit? It's a bit hard to see.
All right, so I know.
There you go.
Okay. Do you know how you can do that really quickly?
Yeah, Zoom is literally right above you. There you go.
Oh, Zoom, this one. So fit, you reckon the fit gonna work? This thing gonna work?
I would zoom in a little bit more. I have a hard time reading that.
All right. Oops, that probably gonna be, how about this one now?
Yeah, that's fine. Just go for it. All
right. So the very first one is how to add a business to GMB. So all right, guys. So how to add a business to GMB? Pretty straightforward. There are two different ways to do that. The very first one is to google.com/maps and then go and search your business. And the other one is obviously via your.
Hey, Rohin, I don't mean to interrupt again, but can you just do it as a slideshow? Just do like F5 to run it as a slideshow. That way it'll take up whole screen.
Because I'm actually on a Mac, so if I am going to start from, okay, probably this is going to work this time, isn't it?
There we go. That's much better. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how this thing work, because once I'm going to leave the browser, it's going to be hard again. So there are two ways, like I said, guys. The one is the google.com/maps, and the another one is business.google.com. And then you need to go and search out your business. If it's going to share missing, that's a time when we go and add the business. So let's jump in really quickly. We probably don't need to get into these slides too much. So the very example I'm going to take today for this presentation purpose is a web planner. It's one of SEO agency in Melbourne. So we're gonna take this one as an example for all the things. So what I did, I went to Google My Business. Let's say the web planners doesn't have any kind of GMB, so I'm probably gonna do the web planners SSS or anything you type in, and this is kind of a message you're gonna get. In case not, then there is always a button up here, add a missing space, and just click on that and fill in all the necessary details it's asking you, and that's the way you're gonna add your GMB. Or else go to business.google.com/locations and then go and add a location, and then obviously you're gonna get all those verified postcard with the numbers. Just add the numbers and you are done. So, and that's the two quick ways what we know how to do it. All those instant verifications, that kind of stuff is actually not working these days. So that's bizarre. So then how the Google Map rankings actually work, and this is from where the main presentation actually starts. So as per what we have seen, there are three main factors on which the Google Map rankings actually work. The very first one is the relevance, distance, and prominence. So when it comes to relevance, we need to understand the main purpose, that Google doesn't want to actually roll in more sales to these brick and mortar stores and all that who are listed on the Google GMB. Their main purpose is to give the best directions or the search, or actually satisfy the search queries. So that's the main motive is. So everything what they're doing, polishing out the GMB, suspending all the GMBs, they are taking that thing in consideration, that they need to make the search query as best as possible. So the very first factor is relevance. This is how relevant your business is. That depends on whether you're going to rank in GMB or not. So let's say I'm an SEO agency and I want to rank in for the keyword SEO Melbourne. So definitely I can't rank for SEO Melbourne if I won't be having that kind of relevant business, obviously. So if it's a web design company, you probably go and start adding like that kind of pages, because if you're thinking like maybe we have got a dedicated website about SEO only, and we probably going to start ranking for web design or web development kind of things, that won't really going to happen, because that the core business needs to be about this SEO. And then how to do the primary keyword, primary category and secondary category search. That's something we're going to say later on when we have to use the tools. So that's their main purpose, is what the do's and don'ts we need to take in consideration. So do include the right primary and secondary categories to your map listing. And that's what we already said. How we need to go and find the primary and secondary categories, which I'm going to show you just after this slide. And then make sure your NAP is consistent. This is one of the most important thing what we have seen for us. Like NAP has to be consistent. If you are, whenever we get any new client on board, the very first thing what we do is we go to, go to check it out. I think Bright Local is one of we use, and then we go and check it out. Like if all the client citations has got a proper NAP or not. So the NAP needs to be matched with your GMB and even with your website schema, that kind of things too. So it has to be as accurate as possible. Obviously it has to be accurate. So do optimize the listing, and we definitely going to cover later on about it, how we need to go and optimize those listings. Now this is a biggie one. We got some kind of like a business listing got suspended just because we added the keyword into that. It's not something you cannot really add it. You definitely can add it, but there is always a risk involved with that. So always try to make sure, like if it's a brand, try to actually put it in the brand. Yes, putting in the, let's say, and here's an example for it too. So if I'll go up here and I'm going to talk about this web planners, they have got a SEO company Melbourne up here. Now SEO company Melbourne doesn't mean that their GMB gonna listing that gonna suspend straight away. Not at all. It can happen or maybe not. But there is always a risk this guy is taking in when he's putting in. So he's taking so much time building it out, ranking it up on page one, doing a lot of work, listing and collecting reviews and all that. And just imagine what's going to happen if the listing going to get suspended. We know it has been happened with us few times, and this is why we stopped doing it. We do not actually add any kind of keyword with in the business name anymore now. So that's one of the thing I would say. And then the next one is basically primary category. So yes, if you have got a primary category, let's say it's an internet marketing business, and you are changing the primary categories too often, probably don't do that, because there's a very good chance that if you're gonna try to do the primary category, it might gonna suspend your GMB listing too. Secondary categories, you can play around with that, no problems at all, but try to be aware about this primary category one. If you freeze it on, probably just freeze it on. Don't really change it too often, or maybe at least put some time interval into it, what I say. IP locations and these ones. So if you got a remote team, this is really very, very helpful, because we have seen in the past, few of the GMBs actually got suspended, and when we tried to figure it out, it was one of a bigger reason what we've seen is the footprint is like IP location. So and this is one of the reasons. Sometimes it happens, like if we are sitting somewhere, let's say we are in Australia and there is a GMB of US we're working on, we try to tell the client with the proper training course. So we tell them like follow just video and try to add the GMB description and even your post everything all by yourself if you can. Or if not, you can definitely try VPN as well, but it's probably not a very good option too. So try to don't shuffle around with the IPs too much, guys. It's not really a very good idea, I would probably say. So the next one we are going to cover is distance. That's a second factor. So the very first one is a prominence. The second one is a distance factor. So distance is like how close location or the business is close to where the person is actually searching for that particular thing. So let's say if I'm in the CBD of Melbourne, I'm searching for it. So Google by default, they're gonna pick it up all those proximity signals and figure out this position, this business is as close to this guy as compared to the other one. So business A will take a first priority, then it's a business B and a C. So distance matters a lot. So if some of the people we know, like they say, all right, we got an office up here and in Melbourne, and we want to rank for Ballarat. which is about like I guess about 100 kilometers away from Melbourne. No, it doesn't really happen these days. I mean, like the Google by default has to give the first priority to a business which is closest to that particular pin code. So this is, we need to make sure. So let's say, and the reason why I said about this one is, let's say we got a business who is coming in and saying like, we want to rank for Ballarat. We're probably going to say, all right, go and take a virtual office in Ballarat or Adelaide, wherever you want to do it. But if you're thinking like the single GMB listing going to start ranking from every place, that probably won't going to happen. And this is one of the things we need to take in consideration when doing it. And the third one is a prominence factor. Now, this is one of the biggest factor. What we always seen is the most hardest one, and all the stuff we are doing in GMB is just because of this prominence factor. So when we say about the prominence factor is, this is where the Google this quality standards jump in, and they try to look at how authenticated your business is, how well known the business is, both online and offline, and based on that, they try to make it, all right, is it really worth actually ranking this guy up here or not for this particular query? So if I'm one who is going to search for in Melbourne, I'm going to search for, let's say, a coffee place, and probably the Starbucks or someone probably gonna take a priority as compared to the other one, because this is where the Google gonna think maybe Starbucks is a more authenticated one as compared to a local coffee shop. So how this thing we can play around with that, obviously, and what kind of factors do we have? So a company website web results makes a lot of difference. So used to be in the days when to rank in the snack pack, you should be on the page 1 of Google as well, but not anymore. I mean, like you probably be on the page 2 or 3 as well, and still you can rank on this GMB snack pack for that particular query. So your GMB reviews is one of the biggest one as well. You need to start looking around that how many the average reviews is for that particular query. I'll show you after this factor 3 that how you can see all this information all by yourself. And then it comes down to the backlinks. Yes, how authenticated the backlinks are. This is one of the reasons why the people actually do all this backlinkings to the GMB listings as well, to the GMB CID URLs, they do it. So that kind of factors do actually play. So the obviously the first weightage, like I mentioned up here, the first weightage will be given to the ranking to the reviews having a rating of 4+, and then the other once that thing gonna get satisfied, obviously then the other things gonna take the priority. So we need to make sure like whatever we are doing, we should satisfy all these search queries. Now let's jump in and start to looking around how we can check all these GMB reviews and that kind of stuff. So taking an example of this web planners once again. So this is one of a tool which we are using in our agency at the moment. This is Flapper Tools, is flapper.com. So I'll share this particular URL as well. So what you need to do is, this is a complete list of their GMB listings. So as you can see, and they keep on adding new GMBs. So as you can see, in the last 30 days, they have added that many GMB listings. So cat breeder, cat trainer, all these different ones they are adding in. So you need to search around for whichever the GMB it is, and then you can obviously go and check all their related categories as well. So if this is my primary category, then I can go and check it out all my secondary categories as well. But let's take a one step further. They have got so you need to go and install this particular Chrome extensions which I recently released, and what the purpose of the Chrome extension is. So let's say I'm the one, I did a query for SEO Melbourne, then I need to go and press the extension and it will tell me straight away like what are the top categories are. So internet marketing business, even I can see it up here as well. So internet marketing service, even this all these different categories are up here too. So let's do really quickly. So SEO Melbourne. Okay, probably need to press the extension one more time, and then this, And this is where you can see all these ones. So internet marketing service, so as you can see up here, and even on this other section as well. So internet marketing service is my primary category, and my secondary category is advertising services, marketing agency, marketing consultant, these all one. Again, it's the same thing for us. So for every listing, they are showing you all these different kind of details already. And all up here you can see like there are 35 different kind of categories which they have picked up, and that includes like all those primary and secondary categories as well. So this is obviously the primary category which has taken a bigger portion, and then the website designer, marketing agency, that kind of them is actually the different categories. So you probably be thinking about why the website designer is up here. So maybe that's one of their main category based on website designer, but maybe they have got like covered SEO, internet marketing, all these ones as a secondary category. So they do shuffle around a bit. Yes, that do happen, but again, we need to take that prominence factor, and we need to take the distance and the relevancy factor in consideration, because that's really very important. So all those things actually do marry with each other. So the average rating, we know like 4.9. It means that we need to go above 4.5% rating. So either you go with the paid reviews, there are plenty of gigs on Legiit as well, which you can give it a try, and they can give you all those legitimate sticky reviews. So you can try that. Average reviews, how many you need? So they're saying 19 as an average review, but the maximum review is about 50. So which means that I'll probably go around 35 to 40 reviews if I need to go for it to maintain my minimum average rating, and my average, average reviews as well. So that's all different kind of stuff. And apart from that is the attributes. So what are attributes? So let's say Google has just added these features of adding attributes, adding service areas, that kind of stuff. Super duper important, guys. If you are having Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi kind of thing, you are having online appointments kind of thing, start adding them as an attribute. It's really very important, and I'm going to cover this thing in our next slide, which is how we have to do the GMB listing, how we need to optimize that GMB listing. But apart from that, this is another thing which is a CID URL thing, but I'll cover that in a very last slide, which is our off-page SEO, in which I'll tell you how we need to go and start doing the off-page SEO for our GMB listing. It just works that way. So let's do this one. So how Google Map works with Google My Business. So we need to understand Google My Business is basically the database of businesses, and Google Map is the online mapping service. You obviously Google basically take both of these things in consideration. They work with each other. So we go and add our GMB listing in the Google database, then it start showing them in the Google Maps. But again, you might have seen like a lot of brick and mortar stores. They might not be having any kind of GMB listing, or they might not be having any kind of like a what we call it as a website as well. And this is where Google has got like different kind of aggregators and sources. So they go and crawl all these different kind of sources. They take the feed from that, and this is how they keep updating their online mapping service, which is a Google Maps. So this is very important. But again, coming to the point, if the website is really important, no. If the Google My Business is actually required to get into the Google Maps, no. You can still go without both of these things. But to rank in Google Snack Pack, you probably be in the Google Maps, but not in the Snack Pack, I'm saying. To get into the Snack Pack, these kind of things are very important, because these website, even Google My Business, they're probably gonna trigger your prominence factor. This is just a way to tell Google that yes, I'm a real business and I live in this area. So help me rank better in SERPs and show me in the Snack Pack for it. So this is kind of a message we are sending to Google via all these different on-page and off-page parameters. So next thing, how to optimize your GMB listing. So when it say like optimizing your GMB listing, ranking in Snack Pack basically is a combination of three things. It's a GMB optimization, it's a website optimization, and it's the off page. So when all these three things, this is a complete action map, I'm telling you. So the action plan is we need to go and optimize our GMB. We need to go and optimize our website, which we do anyways, and the off page for GMB and off page for our website. So all these three things has to club together to get a proper thing. So Google My Business is a database of businesses, we have already said, and it's a different one. Now, don't stress to put too many keywords into your GMB description. You can probably go and add like 750 words of description. What we normally do is we start with a little introduction, then we talk about the services, and then at the end of the services, we go and add our NAP. So we just copy paste a NAP over there. You can actually add the social profiles, that kind of stuff too. A lot of people, I know, they do it, but don't overstuff your GMB description. It's not really a very good idea. It probably can trigger the some bad signals and can actually suspend the GMB listings. And especially during these days, Google is very particular about that. There's a lot of spam GMB listings you're probably gonna see. So it's not a very good idea. And moreover, it's not a very big ranking factors what we have seen optimizing the GMB with the proper stuffed kind of keywords. You can do it. It's not something I'm saying you can't do it. You can do it, but maybe it's not really required, what I'm saying. You probably can just add a bit of an introduction, like this is what the web planners, they do, and then just talk a bit about the services, and then NAP, and that's it. And then don't add the operating hours. Don't say like, if you don't operate like 24/7, don't just go and say I can work 24/7, because maybe the person gonna call and maybe they won't get you on phone, and they might go and add a negative review over there. And this is where the third factor, Google prominence, gonna trigger. So like I said, I'm trying to actually combine all things together with those factor 1, 2, and 3 now. And then obviously our NAP is super duper important, like I said, because this is via GMB listing, via different citations we do, even with press release, even Google Stacks, everything we are trying to tell Google that I live at this business, this is at this place, this is where my business is, so help me rank better in this area. This is the overall purpose. It's not kind of an off-page technique which we are saying we have to do citation because it makes any purpose. There is always a purpose of everything, and this is what we do. It's a proximity signals we are sending and telling Google about our exact location. There are more different ways we're going to use soon. And if you're operating as a service, then we need to go and work as a service. And this is where we create that complete radius kind of thing you might have seen in businesses, where they say where you go and add a service, and then you start adding all your different suburbs over there, and your service and suburbs. So this is where you can actually make a complete website kind of a feel inside your GMB listing. And apart from that, you can go and add like a GMB post and photos and that kind of stuff. So there are 3 additional things what we have seen is really working. It's kind of a GMB hacks we have started using, and it's working like a champ. That is basically start adding 8 to 10 like I said, GMB post. So go to the your business.google.com. Inside your particular location, on the left hand side you can see post. So go and start adding those small posts in your GMB listing. So that gonna start bringing the in different things, and obviously that's one of a prominence factor as well, because that's a different ways we are telling Google that this GMB is related to this particular thing. And second one is GMB photos. You probably don't notice, maybe if you have some seasoned GMB, you probably go and if you're adding photos as well, you probably go and check it out. You might gonna notice a lot of traffic is coming via GMB photos. So it's just I would say, like, as an ignorance, we don't really go and optimize it properly. So start taking a habit to start adding more posts and photos into your GMB. And the third one is that these days it's working very good is virtual tour. So there is probably to get a virtual tour is a very costly one. Obviously, you need to hire some kind of like a video agency or someone to get the virtual tour. But what you can actually do is, there is in your Android phone, there is a Street View app. So just go and just go to your Android phone and download the Street View app, and then inside the Street View app you can go and create a virtual tour as well. So once it's done, go to your GMB photos tab on your left hand side of GMB listing, and then I think it's a third tab where it says add a virtual tour, and this is where you can go and add a virtual tour. Again, prominence factor. So all these things actually do matter a lot. And then optimizing your services, like I said, add a description up to 300 words and a price of your service. And you can add as many services as you like. Attributes, don't forget that, guys. It's very, very important. This is where the Flapper app gonna be helpful. So if you are serving continental breakfast, just go and rank it. free Wi-Fi, go and rank it. So because a lot of time it happens like people, they search in like a weird queries and they write it down. All right, Chinese restaurant or restaurant serving continental breakfast. So how the Google actually figure out which business they have to show it? They take two different kind of things more in relevance. The very first one is the attributes. They try to look around if there is a attribute the business has added in the GMB for that particular search query. And the second one is they I don't know if you have noticed or not, but Google, they are crawling every single GMB review. So if you are even purchasing a GMB review from anyone from Legiit, do tell them to write it down naturally and try to add some keywords into that. Putting the keywords into the GMB listing will not spam the GMB listing. We have done it so many times and it just works like a champ. Just go and do it. There's absolutely no problem at all, as what I've seen. And then, so if you are adding in your attributes, if you have got in the GMB listings, there is very good. If your GMB is listed up properly, your website is done properly, you're gonna notice, it's gonna pop in the snack pack really quickly. And for a website, you guys already know, you can see all those different live streams we have done, or even in even the Academy course of Superstar SEO, you can see around there is pretty much everything, you can get it over there. So how to optimize, like continuation, that's optimizing your website. All the basic stuff is as it is, and these three things I'm going to cover just for the snack pack only. So the rest of the stuff, optimizing your metas and even your schemas and everything, gonna be stick as it is. So there's no need to do anything exceptional. So what you need to do exceptional is basically like you need to go and start adding like a driving direction in your web pages. Then if you are ranking, let's say you've got a website which has got an office in Melbourne, it's got an office in Sydney, Adelaide, you probably need to go and create a GMB listing separately for Sydney, Melbourne and all that. And then inside that GMB listing, go and add your Sydney page of your website. Don't add the home page in every listing because that doesn't make sense. So go and add, because that the NAP you're gonna add to that particular page and the NAP on your GMB listing has to get matched. Even the citations you are going to do it for that particular case will be different from the citations you're gonna do it for the Sydney or Melbourne page. So I hope that makes sense. So when it comes to a driving direction, what you need to do is, let's go and open up the website really quickly. So let's say if I am this web planner website, so what I'm gonna do is I'll click on this direction tab. And then I'll just go and put the places of interest. So it can be, how could I say that? All right, so this is one. Places of interest in Melbourne. So I know Flinders Street Railway Station is one of places. You can go up here, more things to do in this one, and pick it out like 4 to 5 different driving directions. So, and then start adding into that. So the very first one is Flinders Street Railway Station. So let's pick it out, this one. Let's go back to our GMB map and I'm going to paste it up here. So Flinders Street Railway Station. Now I just asked Google, like if I have to go from Flinders Street Railway Station to my business, what the best map will be. And this is what the Google has given me. So what I need to do after that is just go to click on any one of them. So let's click on this one. And it will open up this particular driving direction kind of thing. Click on this share button. All right, so this is your short link and this is your map embed. Pick this map embed and put it on your Melbourne page. Do the same thing for the Sydney page. Pick any places of interest for Sydney and put it on the Sydney page. Do the same thing for Melbourne. So what I'll do is I'm telling Google why this particular way, like if someone has to come from Flinders Street Railway Station to my office, how they gonna come to Web Planner office. So the same thing, you're gonna do it in the different articles as well. And we'll talk in the off-page side for that one. But this is the driving direction. So it's just super helpful thing which tells Google from this longitude and latitude, if someone has to come to my office, how they gonna come and do it. So again, what we are doing is we are just trying to push Google. We're provoking them to pick it out our location, our longitude and latitude, so that they can help us to rank in that particular location for our search query. So let's come back. So this is how the driving direction thing actually work. And okay, I think we have got another slide after that. All right. So, and make sure to add geo-relevant articles to the website. So when I say geo-relevant articles, what does that mean? That means like I'm probably gonna go and add 5 to 6 different articles in my blog post. Maybe you can hide them from the blog category if you like. Probably hide them from the menu bar as well, because you believe you want to, add some industry level blogs only to it. So which is okay. There are plenty of plugins which come around. And then what you need to do is do it like a helicopter ride to Melbourne City. Best restaurants in Melbourne City, the sports event in Melbourne City, and then in every single if it's a sports event, probably go and write it down 3 to 4 sports event, and then at the bottom of that go and create a driving direction like that and put it in that particular post. Do it for the same for the other post and the third post. This way you're going to cover like 3 or 4 different places of interest, and it's just a way to tell Google, like, if someone has to come from this location to my office, this is a way. If it has to come from the position B to my office, this is a way. So we are telling them from every possible, and this is where we are. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, I've just repeated this thing a couple of times. So, and then the schema is obviously there is a one plugin based schema which can do it. Apart from that, there is a proper detailed schema as well. So detailed schema is it's a bit of coding involved into that. I think there is someone on Legiit who do it too. And then they go and add an article inside the schema. They go and add the NAP addresses, all your citations, all your social profiles kind of thing in your schema code as well. So you can actually spam up that schema code too. There's no problems with that, what we have seen, and then add that particular code to your website. So let's say you've got only one single location. If Web Planners doesn't have any office in Sydney or Adelaide anywhere, and they're just located in Melbourne only, then you can add it to the header or file of your website. But if you got like a different GMB listing specifically for every single city, then what you need to do is you need to go and add a plugin. I think it's a Sogo header footer plugin, and then what happened is that plugin gonna give you flexibility that you can add a page level header or footer code as well. So in that particular case, we're gonna create a schema code and we will add it to that particular page, because you remember, we don't need to mix up things together. We need to create all the citations, schemas, everything for individually. So if it's for Sydney, do it everything for Sydney. Melbourne, do it everything for Melbourne, and do it that way. And then all the relevant articles back to the interest. We have already covered that thing now. OffPage Signal, last slide, guys. All right, so when we do the OffPage Signal, obviously we use Basecamp. We have recently started using it's a Smart Task CRM. We are moving everything from Basecamp to that one now. So what we start to do it in a very month one, we go and order all the content for our GMB post, GMB listing, GMB website. I don't know if I haven't talked about GMB website, but that GMB website inside your GMB listing it's another good thing. So try to optimize it nicely as well, because that do rank for certain keywords you're gonna see over time. And obviously it's a Google baby, so that's gonna help you to actually rank better in SERPs too, because they pass on the prominence and the relevancy signals obviously to your GMB listing. We connect them together. So and then as a different task, by the time we are getting all those different content from the writers team, we need to go and start doing all those Google stacks, DAS, social profiles, because again, Google relevancy signals trigger in, proximity signals trigger in. We are doing all the NAP consistency. So you create Google stacks, you make sure your NAP is over there. You create add a relevant article to it, because it just helps to build a topical and geographical relevancy via all these ways. So social profiles really help, guys. It really helps, because a lot of people just think it's just part of a different, we are taking links from a high DA site. So no, it just helps you to build out a topical and geographical relevancy to your GMBs, to your root domain. So when we talk about GMBs, what does that mean? That means like we need to go create a GMB CID URL, and then in every Google stack, DAS, social profiles, even in citations, you can go and start adding your GMB CID URL and making sure your NAP is all consistent. How you can go and create a GMB URL ID. That's again Flapper comes in. Otherwise, there is a Chrome extension as well. I forget the name of that Chrome extension, but this Flapper does the same thing too. So what we do is up here, it's just blank. Just go and search with your business. So in this case, I did a web planner. So when I searched this one, it gave me a GMB CID URL. So this URL I need to take, and then we need to go and scroll down. This is a GMB URL, and then I need to go and do all my PBN links, my Google stack, all that kind of stuff, even my even guest post, that kind of thing. Nisha, you doing it, do it to that CMB CID URL, because that really gonna help. And then this is another knowledge graph. We are pushing the signals to Google so that they can pick it at our location. So what I did up here, so what I did, I picked a web planner. So let me just pick it out, this one, web planner, or you can actually pick it out from your GMB listing name as well. So then copy paste that particular thing up here, and yeah, it's up here. Then once this is done, copy this URL and backlink to this particular URL as well. Tell your team to go and add these URLs in your press release in few different areas as well. And then this is just a way that we are doing the dummy searches for our brand, taking consideration the CID URLs, and we are telling Google that this is our brand and this is our CID URL. So we are just provoking them to help us rank better. And that's the overall purpose of this CID URL, to get us in this knowledge graph. So you might have seen a lot of times the knowledge graphs comes in on the right hand side. So this is how we can play around with that. I don't know if this works all the time, because there is no such way anyone can tell if this, whatever we are doing, every time it works. No, but we are doing all the best things we can do to help us rank better in SERPs and in Snackpack. So what else is left, guys? The press release is another thing, because press release, it's just, you can go and do a map embeds. Remember, I did it like direction, and then we picked up that map embed thing. So you can go and add a map embed in your press release. Press release help you to trigger the geographic and your topical relevancy. Same with the hyper themed guest posting. I don't know how many people are doing it in the hyper themed one, but we are doing it for the past few months. It just works like a charm. When it comes to hyper themed guest posting, these are a little different from the other guest posting what we do. I know Chris has got this kind of add-ons in his guest posting service on Legiit too. You can always ask him. And then what this hyper theme is, let's say if it's SEO Melbourne, my keyword is, what I'm going to do is in my meta title, I will put my Melbourne, SEO Melbourne. In my first 100 words in close proximity to my anchor text, and my anchor text will be branded anchor, because I want to be super safe when running this one. So I'll put my SEO Melbourne in meta description and in meta title, and in H1, sorry, I'll put all this SEO Melbourne even in the URL. When I'm sending the article to my vendor or even anyone, we tell them that we want to see SEO Melbourne in the URL as well. And because we are paying them for it majority of the time, so they don't mind. So you can do it. And then this is the hyper theme. So when Google actually crawl this thing, it just say, all right, this is one of the most relevant topic I've seen on SEO Melbourne. So they just help us to rank better in SERPs. And then a lot of people I know might be thinking like, maybe it's gonna contract, maybe that article gonna rank in Google. No, it won't happen. Google see a lot of different factors to rank any particular site for any particular query. It's just not like one single article gonna to make a whole difference. No. And then your CMB, the CID URL, you can always use in your guest posting and point links to your CID URLs. The next thing is GPS listings. So go to Batch Geo, go to TomTom, all those ones, and then create your longitude, latitude, GPS listings in that. So there are about like 6 to 7 sites you can create. You can add a geotag images. there's a lot of noise in the market which says like Google actually strip it out, all those exif information and everything. I don't know, we just do it. We don't really care if that really works or not. It's part of our SOP, so we simply go and do it. So create a geo network using social profiles. So initially we said to create a geo network in your website, adding like all those helicopter ride to Melbourne sports event. Now do the same thing on the social profiles as well, because it just pass on all those relevancy and the geographical relevancy signals to your GMB listings, to your website. So when they club out together with a good optimized website, your GMB listing is optimized, all those off-page signals are done nicely, you are putting in a lot of GMB posts on your GMB listing, GMB photos, you are doing it, virtual tour you have added. Trust me guys, this thing gonna work. It's gonna work. Give it a try and then let us know if that worked for you or not. You probably gonna, what else you can do is, I don't know if I missed in this one, is you can add the events as well. So go to Google. So let's say it's a final thing, let's do it. So I'm coming up here and I'll say add event, and then I'll say is Melbourne, this one. So Melbourne. And then it will show me all those different, submit a listing. So, and then add an event. So these are the event sites which can use, and you can put an event for the next 6 to 8 months. And then once Google gonna crawl these sites, because Google obviously crawl these kind of things to keep their database updated, what gonna happen is they're gonna see, all right, this guy is up here. You're probably gonna add your little description and then your address basically. And then again, it's gonna trigger all those geographical NAP signals to help you rank better in SERPs. And that's all about it, guys. That's all I have to say. I'm going to stop my screen now. All right.
Excellent,
So back
excellent.
to you.
Thank you for that. First of all, how much coffee do you drink, man? You just go a mile a minute. I admire that.
Well, this is something I do it every single day. I train my teams and all that. So
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I literally don't need to prepare for these kind of presentations, anything into the SEO, because this is something we do it on the fly, all those website audits and all that.
Great. So if you guys enjoyed that, please give Rohin like let's just go with a 2, so we know he knows that you enjoyed that. And while you're doing that, I'll scroll up and we'll cover some of the questions if you have some more time. Yes? No?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. Go for it, Chris.
All right. So let me make sure I don't want to miss anything. So let me just scroll back up. A couple of people have been asking if the slides will be available afterwards.
Yeah, sure. I'll share the slides.
Perfect. All righty. Let's see. Kabir says, going to add a question here before I forget. Is there a way to add a category if a business specific category is not available in the list? You can't create your own if that's what you're asking, but you just get as close as you can, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can go as close as possible. And the way which I showed you with the flapper, you can always go and spy what your competitors who are in the top rankings they have used. If they have used, it means that category is available. You can just simply go and add that. So no reinvent the wheel is required.
Okay. Let's see. Mir joined. Tomislav says howdy. Melody asks, what is NAP? NAP is, Melody Rossi Photography, your free plug, asks, what is NAP? NAP stands for name, address, and phone number, which Print Out Loud showed us right after that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Monzurul says hi, and that he loves Legiit. Thank you very much.
Oh, great.
LinkedIn wants to know, well, somebody on LinkedIn wants to know if there'll be a replay. Yes, there will. It'll be right wherever you are watching this. Maps direction hack. Do driving directions from closest airport to your location. Major booster. Awesome.
Yep.
Yes, please. Let's see. Replay. Thanks. True. Replay. Can I save a video after presentation? Yes, live stream. Bookmark the live stream. Frankie wants to know, would you send social signals to your GMB map listing?
Frankie, definitely you can. Because again, this kind of things actually helps to bring in the engagement. So yes, you can always, if you're asking me if sending just the social signal, if I've tested this particular thing, if that's gonna bring it on, I don't know. I've never tried that. We just in our complete SOPs, in our CRMs, we have got some of the best practices which actually work, and we do it all the time. And in the side, we just keep on testing the new things. But whatever is working for us, we keep on adding to our CRMs, and that's all it is. But yes, definitely go for it. It's a good engagement point.
Replay. Luke says, hi, I had a Google Stack set up, but the Google site, any recommendations for that? Not quite sure what the question is there.
I'm not sure, but Luke, with the Google Stack, we pretty much use Google Site, we use Google Presentation, all those different kind of Google babies, and then we simply go and add them all together and mix them up, and then we add a proper, like a link back at the bottom, and we wrap them all those links together so that the link and topic relevancy pass on from one link to another, and it just helps with the indexation thing too.
All right. Steven says you have a high index rate for your third-party properties. Do you have a service you recommend for indexing?
No, to be honest, there is no such indexing service which is working good. Speedindex.net is one of them, which I can say at least it's working a little better than the others. But Stephen, what the best I can do is probably just answered, like, go and create some social properties. There are a few social properties. For example, WordPress.com. We have seen 8 out of 10 times if WordPress.com works like a charm. They do get indexed, so probably add all those links into that. Or else what you can do is just create a page on your website and add all those links into that, because eventually Google needs to come and crawl all those pages, and there is a chance where your properties do get indexed. So you need to handpick the best properties which do get indexed in Google. Medium is the one. No matter how crap the content you put it in, the Medium just index everything. Google index all the Medium links.
Interesting. All right. Hopefully you guys can't hear my neighbor in the background, because damn. Good. All right, I lost my place. All right. Frankie says this boy is going deep. I hope I did that justice. Ken says, can somebody provide the list of sites for GPS listings?
I do have a site which we use for GPS listings. So there are like 6 to 8 of them. You need to play around with that, how to add, although it's very straightforward. So Batch, Geo, TomTom, these kind of sites. So I think it's like 6 to 8 sites what we use. I'll put it in the comments anyways in the morning.
All right. Keith says he's here but late. Welcome aboard, Keith. Ross says it's possible to upload the... Yes. Mark says this is awesome.
Thanks, Brian.
Lots of 2s. Adam says fast. Nice one. Thought you said Q. Apparently a lot of people did, because a couple people said Q. So yeah. Mark says awesome stuff. Rohin.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
Web Lab for You Web Agency. There's your free plug. Says thank you. Lots of 2s. Amazing content. Thank you, Rohin. That was amazing. Thanks, Chris and Rohin. Will there be video to watch afterwards? Yes, there will, at the same location you're at right now. Dawit says good presentation.
Well, thanks, Robert.
Is this service available on Legiit? I mean, this was kind of like a whole process, but most of it you can find the various pieces from people on Legiit. Yes.
Yep.
Tommy says hello from Ireland. What's up, Tommy? Bethany says, what if we are a service-based business that's using a virtual address only for mail and GMB? Would you still recommend these optimization steps for me?
Yeah, definitely. We need all this GMB optimization for services as well. And this is one of the reasons why when we go inside the business.com, inside our location, this business.google.com, inside location, and Google has specifically added that add services section now, so we can go and add.
I think what she's asking is, because it's a virtual address, will that work?
All right. So if it's... So eventually in service-based business, what I have seen is Google doesn't actually show the address anymore now.
Okay.
So they're pretty clever in understanding where they need to show what. So they don't really show your address in virtual. You can give it a try.
That said, if you get some nasty competitors and they find that it's a virtual address, they're probably going to report it. So
exactly.
Just be aware that that's a possibility.
Yes.
Gigahertz, that's clever, says hello from Louisiana.
Thank
Real
you.
Video SEO, there's your free plug, says
Okay.
great info, Rohin. Dawit says why it says pending verification with red color before it gets verified. Because it's pending verification. You kind of
Exactly.
answered your own question there.
David, they actually have to make sure that they should send you a postcard so that to confirm your NAP, name, address, and phone number. So basically the address. That's where it's important to have a verified GMB, because that's the most best signal we can send to Google that we live at this area, because you send us a code with and we enter that code and verified our listing.
Kabir says, recently I've noticed some GMB listing showing a check mark next to things like curbside pickup. I saw one like that today too. I don't know what it's about, but
no idea, to be honest. Maybe at my geographical location, it didn't happen like this.
Adrian says, thank you so much, Rohin. Very interesting ideas. And the tool Plepper, very nice. Loved it.
Well, thanks, Adrian. It's actually a good tool.
Internet Concepts USA, there's your plug, says, how do you do virtual tour for a service business? I don't suppose you really can you?
No, you can't do it. You probably just start with driving your car around the city if you can. But no, I don't know. We have never done that. We usually, I told you, rather than hiring someone with, and spending like 5K something on a virtual tour, just pick up your phone, Straight View app, and start creating a virtual tour thing. Great.
There's actually a friend of mine that lives here in Myrtle Beach who's a really good SEO also, and he is a Google trusted photographer. So I call him when I need that sort of thing.
Expensive guys, yeah.
Elmer says that's really awesome. Thanks, Rohin.
Thanks, Elmer.
Go Engine asks, where can we hire your services? You can find Rohin on Legiit at legiit.com/rankjacker.
Yep.
And then you can always find him on Facebook as well.
Yeah. So you can go up there. We got a Facebook group. You can always go and join the Facebook group, or eventually add me on Facebook anyways.
Yes. Kabir says, I tried to change my attributes, but the check marks won't show for the attributes I selected. I wouldn't worry about the check marks as long as you're doing the right stuff.
All right.
Bethany says, this is awesome, Rohin. Thank you.
Thanks, Bethany. I appreciate that.
Man, why does it do that? If you scroll all the way down, it like pushes this off the screen. Rich says, if accessing a GMB from only 2 IP addresses frequently, for instance, the clients in mind, will that raise any red flags? I don't see why it would, as long as it's just those 2.
Exactly. It's just, if it's just 2, it won't. But if you are trying to make too many changes from all different IPs every single time, it is a problem. But see, I like at the very start when I said like it can create a problem. It's not something it's going to create a problem for everyone, but we have seen like few of our GMBs got actually suspended, but maybe because we were in a different location and then all those different team members were logging in. I don't know, but this has happened. And VPNs, don't try to do it on the VPNs, because those VPN IPs has been,
Google is smarter than you when it comes to stuff.
Exactly. Everyone just use those VPN IPs and all that, even to watch Pornhubs or something. They try to open up on the same VPN. So don't do it. Just use your own VPNs or buy a dedicated proxy if you like.
Even that's probably not enough, because there's a thing called a device fingerprint that they can see also. So not only do they know what IP you're coming from, they know what your physical device is. It's kind of like a MAC address.
Yeah.
For those of you nerds out there that know what that is.
Yep.
Everyone needs a Google stack. Rich says, can you explain briefly what are CID URLs?
No, Rich, that's a tricky question. I've never tried to get into too much into this. It's
basically the share URL, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a share URL with a proper ID kind of a thing. Because if you go to Google and Google Maps, and then if you try to choose your link, you can create a proper shortened link. You can definitely, the shortened link is actually going to your GMB as well. But I don't know. Sorry about that, Rich. I have no idea what the full form of the CID URLs.
I think he's just asking what it is.
Yeah, what the
Not
CID.
yeah, like what is a CID URL is what he's asking, not like how to use it or whatever. Just what it is. He's asking what it is.
No, I can't really give a clear answer for this, to be honest, at this stage.
Okay.
We actually, to be honest, Chris, what the thing is, we've got a very close circle, and there are a lot of SEOs and everyone into that, and we guys actually do a lot of testing, and this is how we share all the knowledge and everything with all of us. So if I'm testing on a few things, I share with them, and then
all he's asking is how to find it and what it is.
So to how to find it's pretty easy. I mean, like so if we have to go how to find it. So let me just share my screen one more time.
Sure.
So that's one of a URL is inside the Plepper. So I think if I go to tools, you probably, CID converter. That's the one. CID converter. So go to plepper.com, inside the menu, tools, CID converter. And this is where it's gonna end up. And just go up here at this section and start typing in your business name. So it's so actually it says something up here. I've never tried to CID decimal something. All right. So what it is web planners and this one. So it auto populates, and this is where it gives you the CID URL. Now, what it tells is the CID between the decimal places to generate a Google map, knowledge graph, and all that. CID is a multi-platform ID for your listing ecosystem of Google. Some technical stuff, I don't know. All I know is we use this CID URL for anything we are linking to our GMB listing, rather than using the normal when we open up this one, and then there is a URL we can create out there too. Rather than using that particular URL. So rather than using this share URL, this one, just G page URL, definitely you can do, but I prefer to use this GMB CID URL.
Perfect. All right, where did it go? Tommy says, any tips on how to rank a business listing that's not verified? Get it verified. I mean,
that's true.
Mark says, do you have any deals coming up for users on here? You never know. Depali says, thank you.
Thank you.
Carl asks, is geotagging still useful nowadays?
Yeah, Carl, like I mentioned in my very last slide, a lot of people, there's a lot of noise that the geotagging doesn't really work and all that. We just do it. It's a lot more easy to just do it and use those particular images. But if I have never tried to do it like with or without kind of a test, I've never done it. So or maybe you can say like we do add sometimes like a non-geotag images as well, but I've never tried to actually do a specified rank checkings to figure out if it's really working, or if I don't do it, then still it's good. So it's a very diplomatic answer, to be honest, I can give you. What do you reckon about it, Chris?
I think that it's a few extra seconds, so if it helps at all, it's worth it.
Exactly, yeah. It's just we have got that thing in our SOPs, so the boys, they know when they get it, they have to do it.
Right. Alex says, good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Nitin says, can you describe how to build a Google stack? That's a bit of a big topic.
It's hard to describe everything, but in short, if you want to know, go to your Google Drive and then right click. And then this is where it shows all those different kind of Google properties. You're probably gonna see Google site as well, and then just add an article to that with your website URL, and that probably gonna make a Google site. But to create a Google stack, there are so many properties involved in that, so it's probably a lengthy process.
All right. Adam says, can you speak more about the knowledge panel? Where should we add that link to?
Right. So, okay, let me share the screen one more time for you, Adam, just because you asked. All right. So again, the same link, CID converter and link generator. Adam, go and search for your thing. You probably gonna get this CID URL. Scroll down. Oh, sorry, you need to get convert and generate, obviously, which will create, scroll down, and this is where you will create your knowledge graph in Google search. Now you're probably gonna say it's showing like your business name here. So what you need to do is go to google.com/maps up here. So let's say web planners, this SEO Melbourne company, and this is your business name. Oops. Okay, this is your business name. You obviously you need to pick out the whole name in this case because this is how they have done it. So pick this one and forget about plus plus plus, all those things, just copy paste them, and same thing, do it one more time. All this good. Pick this URL, throw it in here in Google, ask the team to do it, throw it a few times. We have got a Python in place who do that. And then the more the people gonna start using it, you probably gonna start adding this URL in your different properties as well. You're probably gonna see like these kind of things actually trigger the Google knowledge graph up here. It's just one of a trick actually to get in. Google is a bitch. They look at so many different kind of things. The knowledge graph to actually get prepared with the help of how you do the interlinking and external linkings that do get prepared with the help of schema as well. So this is one of the reasons why we should be using a detailed level schema rather than using a normal plugin based schema.
One second, got a couple of spam that I have to get rid of.
Yep.
All right. Few more questions, guys. Let's see. Rohin, how do I find your services? I'm going to include that link again. That is Legiit.com/rankjacker. We've recently made that URL, the user URL, much easier to find. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, sure.
It's Google Guarantee. And he must be talking about the check mark. Do you recommend buying feedback? I guess he means Google reviews.
Reviews. Yeah, you should do it, man. Or else.
I mean, you should get them.
Yeah, as an agency, I mean, like obviously we cannot ask for Google reviews from the clients and their customers. But what we can do is just simply go to Legiit, start taking the reviews from there. And when you actually take the reviews, do ask those guys to actually add some keywords into the review to as naturally, so that it makes sense. And because Google eventually gonna use those keywords as attributes in your website. So free Wi-Fi, continental dinner, or even online appointments, that kind of things to help with the Google reviews. Google actually scan all the reviews, trust me or not.
All right. Greg Galuce Music says, I'm a musician. How will this work when I have a service area and bring my services to their location?
Yeah, I think, Greg, we have already mentioned that. So yes, it works for the service areas as well. And in GMB listing, that's why Google has actually added all those service area in which particular areas you can serve, because they need some of the best information to understand what your services are, where do you serve, and these kind of information. And when you add them with your different proximity, prominence signals, and just helps you to rank better in those areas. Obviously, your website should actually marry with this too. So you should be having a website, and if you don't have an official website, you probably go and you start using the Google GMB business.site, that thing, yeah. And then so all those things, when they work out together, the listing is optimized, that thing is optimized, and you're using all those different kind of signals, and that probably gonna start helping you out. One thing, what else you can do is with the services one. So when you go and create a geo network driving direction method, obviously because you do not in the service area, you're covering the whole area in itself, and you're not really picking that particular location. So what you can do in that particular case is, rather than creating a driving direction from one place to another one, because Google actually knows your location, but they don't really show it publicly. So in that case, start adding the complete embed map over there. Process is the same. Go to google.com/maps, search with your business name. The thing gonna come up. Click on the share button. Google will give you the g.page link and then the embed link. Embed link is the complete area map that the thing you cover. Pick that thing, start adding that particular one in all your different location pages, in your location pages, in your geo network pages as well. It's just like different things we can do as a best for service areas. And the attributes is something on top of that.
All right. Oh boy. Let's see. Tebby Chiropractic and Sports Medicine Clinic of Charlotte, North Carolina says, if a GMB is suspended and deleted, can the company relist the GMB?
Yeah, you need to actually get on the phone with the Google department. They have to go and fix the GMB. I think the Google Guide, Debbie, that's a big one now. Google Guide 10, something like that. They have got the rights to go and fix any GMBs as well. I'm not sure, but I can definitely ask my close circle how they go and manage with these things, because usually we are very careful these days. Like I tell you, and probably you guys can, whoever is listening can do the same thing too. We created a proper video series. It's a 4 to 5 minute short videos. We send it to the client, and these days we actually tell the client to go and log into their GMB and start adding the content to that. For them, it's just I'm like probably gonna take like 4 to 5 minutes. And once you address them like this is the problem which comes in, they're probably gonna say, all right, send us through and our system, or maybe they can do it. This is a practice which we have started doing it in our agency, and you can guys do it. But fixing them are big thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Usually need to get a phone.
Simon says, great stream, guys. Same question as Bethany, referring to service area virtual offices with acceptable links to GMB, Google, CID, FID, not able to be used in the way Rohin described. I mean, as long as it's there, you should be able to get all those URLs, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. David says, always good value and content from Rohin. What about me? Thank you. Thanks, David. Always a pleasure. Answering Rich DeFuro, CID is the multi-platform ID of your listing and ecosystem Google Map.
Exactly. Thanks for that. I appreciate that.
You can also find CID URL and review URL with Chrome extension GatherUp. Awesome.
Yes, that's the GatherUp. That's what I was thinking on. There is an extension for it.
Kabir says, if Google has the end user's best interests in mind, why do we see businesses with poor review? Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, it's spam. Spam is everywhere. Even
I mean, their algorithms now. Their algorithm is just a giant computer program, so it's not going to be perfect. Exactly. But I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I think that's the question you were probably frustrated that you couldn't get an answer to the other day, Kabir. And the answer is no one really knows. Probably not even them. It's just it's not a perfect. It's a computer program, so it's not perfect. So sometimes exploits are going to work. So that's the answer to that, I think.
Whatever I mentioned in the slides, whatever what spoke in this presentation as well, that's what we have tested and what actually worked for us. But it doesn't mean what worked for me, maybe that doesn't have worked for you. That's the same thing. SEO is a common practice. People, they say like do this in meta titles, meta descriptions. For a few people they work very well, for the others it doesn't. So yes, I think we all need to keep testing, keeping all these best practices, everything in place.
Great. Trans Canada says, hey Chris, good to see you. You as well.
Thanks, Trent.
Thanks again for answering all my newbie questions, Rohin. I'm new here. Thank you, Kabir.
Anytime, man.
Rich says, where's the best place I can find to create citations based on the business category? I like to use advanced search operators in Google search myself. Alex says, I don't see GMB set up an optimization as a service on Legiit. There's a few, and I know one that I'm going to share with you. But there's not a lot because, as Rohin said, it's hard to like log in to them and things like that. So, but I am going to link one that I know of. So hopefully you're still on and you can see that. Can we create backlinks to the GMB website? Does it also help in local rankings?
Exactly, it does.
Okay.
Backlinks are the voting signals. So we create backlinks to just not to power up only, because with the help of anchor text, Google understand what the page B, so page A to page B. So page B is about, this is their way of understanding the things. Their machine has been coded in such a way. So when you actually create backlinks for a GMB website, that's another way you're telling Google that this thing is, let's say, plumbers in New York or something, and that pass on the relevancy signals, geographical signals, and the power juice as well.
All right. DeWitt says, do you recommend adding a location on the GMB name if you have more than one location? So what he means by that is, like, if you have multi locations, do you say like Rohin's business New York, Rohin's business Los Angeles? Do you recommend that?
No, I don't do it. Like I said, and this is what the web planner actually did, SEO Melbourne. That's the very first point I covered. We had few listings got suspended last year, and we stopped using it. So if it's a brand name web planners, I'm gonna add the web planners, because I am adding that particular URL in the GMB listing. So Google knows very well how to do it, and this is how they read the website, the schemas, and your GMBs all together to understand your location.
All right.
They don't really need any kind of hard coded in a way like the location is over there and then they do. Yes, it probably be an advantage at the very start, but probably not a very safe run, I would say.
All right. I just joined. Any chance it's being recorded? Yes, it'll be at the URL that you're watching at now. Luke says, I had a client that wasn't too keen on the Google site showing up. His customers would potentially land on that instead of the main site. If I unpublish this for now, any recommendations on making this look more professional? You can dress it up and make it look more professional, but what it sounds like you need to do is tell the client to mind his own damn business and let you run the SEO side of things, because you're the expert and you're the one that knows what's going on. And no one's ever going to see the Google site in my experience anyway. Have you ever seen one ranking in SERPs? Probably not. So I would just tell him not to worry about it, and I would republish it and explain that the benefit is more than the drawback, and politely let him know that you don't tell him how to run his business.
Yeah, I think that was you who actually published the other day, Myrtle Beach SEO, and the Google site was actually on the page one, isn't it?
Yeah,
some of them
that's not the same thing he's talking about, though. That was an actual site.google.com.
Yes.
He's talking about the GMB website thing.
Yes, that's true.
Good Lord. Every time I scroll down, it like scrolls back up. That's a dumb question. Once in the snack pack, how do you keep clients paying you? You tell them that if you are fat and out of shape and we work out real hard and start eating healthy, that we're going to get in great shape. But then if we stop and we start sitting on the couch and playing video games and eating chips and pizza and cookies, eventually we're going to get fat again. You've helped them get in shape, and now you need to stay in shape by continuing to work out, and use that as an analogy.
Exactly. And probably you can ask them for other locations which they can cover, or maybe say, if we are not working on something, doesn't mean our competitors are also not working. So maybe it can be a chance that they might gonna outrank us and take the position. And this is one of our reason they are getting the lead. So they should be convinced as well to pay you.
All right. Greg Luce Music says, cool, thanks. Google phone support doesn't work anymore. Yeah, there is a number you can still get. It's just very well hidden.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't work like it did a while back. Yeah. Rich says, what would you say is the best way to get your foot in the door to offer GMB services? I've been cold calling and asking if they want more info about GMB optimization service, then emailing them a custom flyer. That way they can share it. If anybody wants a copy, let me know. I mean, there's a million different ways. It's kind of what works best for you, but I would just find people that are like fourth or fifth, that with a few tweaks you can get to show, and then explain the value to them. You know, yeah. I mean, that's kind of a deep question, but that's kind of the surface answer to it, I think.
Exactly.
Rich says, and by the way, thank you very much. This was so technical. Good. Glad you enjoyed it. Peter says, some MacPack results have a review snippet on them. How are they getting these to appear? It's probably random, right?
Yes, I think that's Google algorithm again. I mean, like they play it on. Sometimes they show the knowledge graph. Sometimes it disappears. So they play with a lot of different things too. And I don't know, maybe some people actually play with the JavaScript or snippet codes as well. but no, not sure.
All
I
right.
cannot answer this question too.
All right. Adam says, I've used RankJacker many times. Great service. Awesome. Jordan says, can check competitors as well. Rich says, do you know where I can get a copy of code for a web page that is a bridge page for getting to the actual GMB review URL? Meaning if customer chooses a 3-star or less, it keeps the review internal. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't really follow that.
No, I don't know. We usually, I don't know if we can do it. We probably can. Yes, you can ask Google to. You can ask customer to give you a review at one of our internal page on a website, and if you are happy with that, then you can actually, based on that thing, maybe some conditions, upload them to GMB. I don't know, man.
All right. ML says Rohin rocks. Jordan says make it look more like a landing page and direct them to the main site too. Let's see. Sinon, oh, good to see you, Sinon. Says, I love that analogy. Gonna steal that. Thanks. Chris. Yeah, you're welcome. I like that one as well. Local Web Advantage says, I love that explanation. Well, thank you. I find that people understand analogies really well. So
all right.
Alex says, so I have an auto glass client, but the only category for this is automotive business like mechanic and such. Should I still add this tag and compete with mechanics? I suppose.
Yeah, you can. Or I think probably using this flapper, you can find out the other primary and secondary categories that way too. Because eventually, before using this particular tool, I wasn't even aware about how to actually go and dig deep and start finding out the other different secondary categories. There is another way, but that's too much technical. I don't want to actually confuse you guys using that, but that's one of the way when we do SEO Melbourne, for example, on the left hand side, and on the right hand side where Google actually shows all the different information, you can right click, check the source code, and then using a command *M*, that is another way, but it's a very tricky one. I probably need to go and create a video and post it in the group if you guys want.
All right.
That's another way to figure out different categories.
All right. Trans Canada says, is your Superstar SEO course still available and updated? Yes, it is. You can check that out at learnhowtorank.com. If somebody can type that in the chat for me, I'd appreciate it. Learnhowtorank.com. UK Close Protection Services Ltd, Bodyguards London, there's your free plug, says, this is a funny thing. Now you have spent all your money for SEO instead of for yourself for hard work. Okay, then. Luke says, Jordan, yeah, it's the Google site used for the stack. Showing up in the top 5 for them, it doesn't look as good as the main site. Yeah, kind of the same thing. So I do apologize, but I would still tell the client that it's the benefit is better than the thing. But yeah, you can dress it up a little bit. Yep. But I guess I get their concern a little bit, but I still wouldn't like my client telling me what to do. Mohammed says, hi, how are you? My question is that it's been 10 months I'm working on a website, but it's not ranking in Google Maps. Can you give me some tips or tricks to rank it on Google Maps? Help me with this. Just go back and watch the presentation. He kind of walks you through everything that we do.
I'll give you a copy of this presentation anyway.
John says, Rich, check out Endorsal. Okay. Alex says, I would like that video. Sorry, I'm starting to find out that I'm more technical than I realized. That's okay. That's good to know that about yourself, because some people like Rohin are very technical. Some people like me are not so much, despite having a background in IT. So it's good to be aware of how you function. Ellie says, learnhowtorank.com. Thank you. Dawit says, and I think this is going to be our last question because I have another meeting coming up. To rank on GMB, do we really need a website, or we have to have a page on the website with the same NAP with the GMB? So I guess what he's saying is, does it have to be the homepage, or it can be a location page? I think is the question there.
Well, to the very first one, to rank on the GMB, do we really need a website? No, you don't really need a website for it. You can actually go without a website too, and that's one of the reasons why some of the local brick and mortar stores, they actually go and type it in, and then you can actually find that place, because Google actually take a feed from so many different aggregators, data sources, so they don't really rely on having a website all the time. But having a website GMB listing, it's one of the best prominence signals you can pass on. Now, or we have to have a web page on the website with the same NAP with the GMB. Definitely it's a plus. if you're having a same NAP with the GMB, with your schema code and everything, it's just a way to tell Google like, all right, my NAP is this one, my citations has got the same NAP, my website has got a same NAP. It means that this is my location. But if you try to give it like a different kind of locations on your citations, on your web pages, everything, Google gonna get confused. And this is where they're gonna say, all right, no, I'm confused. I don't think this is the right business. Let's give the other business a priority. In the meantime, I'm gonna see and settle down this particular query.
And also a website is like $20. So there's no reason not to have one. I get that question from time to time. And that's always my answer is just make a website. Hosting for and domain for a year is like $20. Yes. Design you can do yourself, or you can get cheap as well. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, he kind of said the same thing. Thanks, guys. Related GMB categories are car repair and maintenance, auto glass shop, and auto repair shop. Hope this helps. Awesome.
Oh, thanks for that.
Thanks all right. We've been here for almost an hour and a half now. I think we need to go because I do have another appointment in like 5 minutes. Rohin, anything else you wanted to cover or talk about or anything like that today?
That's it. That's it pretty much, man. I think we have covered everything, and I'm going to give this presentation and the different tools. I'll paste it in the morning in the chat box as well.
If you want to just send it to me, I'll link to it and put a link to everything on one page. I'll create like a page for it.
That's possible. I can do it, but that's all about it, guys. Just try to keep it as simple as possible, because you doesn't know, like maybe you're spending like 10 hours doing one thing and you never know if they're really going to make a difference or not. So what I always do in our agency, we just set it out everything as a best practices, and we tell the team to go and do it. And based on the data, based on the rankings and everything, we take a call what to do next after that.
Awesome. I know it's late there, so I appreciate you taking the time to come on today and talk to everyone. I think it was a great session. I got a lot out of it. I'm sure they did too. There's a lot of great feedback, a couple of spammers, but you know, that's par for the course. So appreciate it. Check Rohin out on Legiit at legit.com/rankjacker. Anywhere else you'd like to send them? Your group is SEO Launchpad, right?
Yes, SEO Launchpad.
Check out Rohin's group there. And that's all I've got for you as well. I'll be back. I don't know when it's going to be broadcast, but I'm doing an interview on Friday. Somebody's interviewing me, so we'll have that up sometime soon too. So thanks a lot for hanging out with us today, guys. Always means the world to me. So we'll see you again soon, and figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. I'll see you later.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.